You are tuned to the leading edge with Scent, the pulse of cricket podcast. I'm Scent. Every week we bring you the stories, insights, and moments that drive this beautiful game. From the grassroots to the global stage, women's cricket, youth cricket, club heroes, and the stars lighting up international arenas. We've got it all. Hi there. Hope everyone is good. Welcome to another episode of Leading Edge with Scent at Roundly Podcast Studios. So today we're talking grassroots cricket, and I have a guest with me. Um, he's going to introduce himself. Ubhoti Xolisa Sokayi. So I'm going to let you say and tell us a brief history of who you are, background, and then we let the conversation flow from there. So we talk about grassroots cricket, township cricket, development, elite development.
Morning, Sand, and thanks for having me. My name is Xolisa Sokayi. I'm from Mfuleni. I founded Mfuleni Cricket Club in 2009, and we affiliated with Western Province Cricket Association since then until to date. I'm also a founding member and a coordinator for Grassroots Cricket South Africa. This is an NPO that's founded by a Zimbabwean living in Australia, Mr. Tawanda Karasa. It's got a food presence in Zimbabwe, and it's coming to South Africa now.
And that's a good place to start. So I'm gonna get into grassroots per se. How did you get there? Like who found you? How did it come to you?
All right. So I was always working with Mr. Roger Malt. He's been involved in our club since 2015. He's been facilitating some sponsorship and kit and equipment for Mfuleni cricket. Right. So he saw the need to bring in more resources and get more people involved. So he introduced me also to Tawanda Karasa, and through him we then started, forming grassroots and coordinating for grassroots cricket in Cape Town, South Africa.
One thing I'm liking about this, you're saying something. Tawanda is from Zim.
That's correct, yes.
Ubhoti is from South Africa,
Yes.
and you guys have the same problems, which
Yes.
is, I would call it. I don't want to call it the black people. I'm gonna call it African problems.
Yeah. So I think the challenge is, I'm from Mfuleni, but the challenge is in Langa, in Khayelitsha, in all the underserved areas, which is or township areas. It's basically the same. This looks like a challenge also, similar challenges in Zim and the rest of Africa as well. So the NPO foundation, it's found, on those premise that we need to be looking at the different, looking at the challenges differently, right? I mean, if a challenge is similar in Mfuleni, in Tembisa, in Khayelitsha, and in Langa, it means we need to be, as you said, an African problem. We need a solution that can be, that can mitigate that challenge.
I like that because the problem is there tends to be with the development. One township is different from another. One space is different from another. But at the end of the day, they need to be solved one way or another if we can. And within this now, I'm trying to think of something specific. As Zimbabwe has recently played South Africa, and you look at the Zimbabwe cricket team, it had a lot of black players as well, youngsters compared to South Africa. But again, the quality in Zimbabwe cricket was not something that we would like. And I always say, Nditi, in order to have a great South Africa, you also need a good cricket, yes, as Zimbabwe, per se. And there is an emergence of in Namibia right now, but it's also in its own infancy. And there will be obviously Cricket World Cup 2027. Most people want to play a World Cup at their own backyard. So South Africa, Zimbabwe, Namibia is there. How do we motivate young players, abantwana, to to want to be there? Because I'm hoping this is not the last World Cup that's coming to Africa. I know that before this was in 2003, but like I hopefully like more kids will be motivated to want to play this game again. So how do they get motivated? I think by such program, because this is a good program. World Cup for me, I view it as a program, PR. How do we get into this PR to motivate Abandwan?
Okay, so the name says it's Grassroots Cricket. We are working together with another NPO, Starting Chance, which is very active in the early childhood development space, based in Mfuleni. It's founded by Dr. Ian Corbett and Ali Corbett. So what we want to bring as Grassroots Cricket is to merge the two, which is bringing cricket to the underserved areas and also bring in life skills. Right, this is the first of its kind. We're not just looking at the cricket. We want to develop, the individual as a whole to make a greater human being. Right, if you're not going to be making it as a professional player, if there's anything that you can take out from the game, it's the discipline, the life skills that we'll be offering. We are launching the Grassroots Cricket on the 6th and the 7th of September. On the Saturday, the 6th, we'll be in Rondebosch. We'll be bringing over Mr. Trevor Chappell and Paul Wilson, which is the former international Australian players, right? So they also have the similar synergies as well with us, right? We want to develop kids from a younger age, right? We've got the age group of 0 to 6 and 7 to 10 and 11 to 14. So if we can interest them at that level already when they're at an early childhood development stage, which means we can have them as a cricketer for life. They can contribute to in cricket as officials, as players. They can advocate for the game. All right.
So you've stated about some of the goals that you want to do within Grassroots SA, and obviously those come from specific challenges. And what are the challenges that you have since you qala Mfuleni in 2009, and then you met to Mr. Roger or Mr. Malt, and then you, obviously now with the Grassroots, you're trying to establish that Grassroots SA. What are also those challenges? Are they the same or?
Okay, so let me take you a step back. When we met with Mr. Malt, right, on the side, I was already working also with Dr. Ian Corbett, right, through the ECD space, right? So after so many years, I keep saying this to them as well, right? Why didn't I introduce, Mr. Malt to Dr. Corbett, at the time, right? Because their visions are the same, right? But they just didn't meet. So through me, then we got together, right? Because one challenge is we want to develop cricket in the area of Mfuleni as a starting point, right? On the other side, Starting Chance is also developing, the toddlers from the ECD space. But now with the emergence of both, right, and the formation of Grassroots Cricket, we sort of like saw the challenge is a bit. I mean, the ask is big,
Yes.
right? We need facilities in the area of Mfuleni. We had a chat before that we lost about 4 players to crime, right? They were murdered, right? Because we don't have facilities, we don't have resources. So with Grassroots, it's going to be assisting us, and we are calling out, to all the possible sponsors, people that can assist, in us having those facilities in the area. It can assist, Mfuleni a lot, as a starting point, right? But this is something that we want to roll out nationally. But like I mentioned before, the challenges are similar from Kailicha to Tembisa to Mfuleni to the deep villages. But you've got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
And Mfuleni is where we are starting now.
Challenges are enormous, but now what keeps you going?
What keeps me going, I think it's a belief that inside of each and every child, there is someone who can be better, right, more than the environment they're coming from. But now that needs someone to be, like a guiding star for that person, right? Each and every weekend, like weekends, I'm never at home, especially when it's cricket season. I must just make sure the boys is already in the taxi at 7 a.m. So I've got two boys, so both of them are playing in the team. So
Okay.
it's not a good excuse for me to get away from the house, but for all those years, right, I've just been making sure that at least someone has got a chance. We've got so many boys and girls that came through our team that got scholarships. Um, we just want to make sure that we can continue doing that. If we can assist one child, one person per time, they can have better access to education through cricket. We would have made a change.
Did you have Xolisa when you were young? And if so, who it was? And if not, how did you how did you bite this bug, cricket?
Yeah, so I think the reason why I am the Xolisa that I am now, it's because I didn't have someone like me,
Yeah.
growing up, right? That was looking out for me in terms of cricket, and I played cricket, right? But it just started and ended there, right? There was nothing outside of cricket. Okay, this is what you do. This is what you do when you're not playing, right? Someone who can line up opportunities for me as someone who's taking part in cricket. So I've now decided to be that person so that whoever is coming through our program, especially the grassroots cricket platform, I want that person to be also the guiding star for those that's coming through the program in the next 10 years, the next 20 years. But most importantly, I want someone to look back and say, the program that assisted me, in where I am today, it's the Grassroots Cricket Initiative in Mfuleni. I'm not playing for Proteas, I'm not playing for Western Province, but I've taken the life skills that was offered and the discipline.
And I'm gonna go back just a bit. 2009, you have this epiphany. It's like, I'm gonna start a cricket club or cricket program in Mfuleni. What was the motivation for that? That's one. And paint us a picture of if facilities right now in Mfuleni, how it is Zinjani, so that people can probably understand why the need again for grassroots to do this program.
Okay, Sam, thanks for the question. It's funny enough that when I started in Mfuleni cricket, I used to play in Kaelicha at the time, right? So I used to just, whenever I'm going to work, I'll take my kit bag with me, and then whenever I'm coming back home, then the boys will see that I've got a kit bag, and they'll say, "But why don't you start something?" And I had brothers and cousins playing in the street. I think there was a forest next to where I was living. So each time they kept hitting balls to that forest, and when it's like an over is done, but they're looking for the ball in the bush there, the bushy area. So I decided, look, let me take the bag that I currently have. I think it was a old county cricket pens that I bought for 60 rand. So I decided to start a club, and strange enough, I went to the club was founded at Mfuleni Primary School. This is where now we will be. We've got we've got a facility that is belonging to the school that we are currently raising funds to develop. Right. Yes. So Mfuleni Cricket Club was started at Mfuleni Primary School officially. The first document for Mfuleni Cricket Club was drafted at Mfuleni Primary School. So I think it's all coming now in full circle. Where we've got this opportunity with Starting Chance, to coexist and raise these funds to have a cricket facility built in Mfuleni. And now we're looking at having 4 nets, but for the time being, the funding that we have received is only allowing us to have 1 net at a time, right? So we're still raising funds for the 3. Plus, we've got a construction group that's offered to level the field for us. However, we're still looking for funding to develop that into a fully fledged cricket oval, right, for our juniors. Maybe it can be for seniors, but at least we are getting one net for
Net,
now.
no.
Yeah, so there's three more to go, and there's also the development of the oval that would really need assistance in getting it done. I mean, I think that can do wonders for the cricket in Mfuleni and also the surrounding neighborhoods as well.
So earlier you spoke about a crime. You lost four boys, I think,
Yes.
to crime, and these are areas that people don't understand. But crime is actually growing. You know, as much as there's programs like these help, crime on the other hand is just not stopping. How is it affecting the club itself? And is there a way to prevent the boys, especially those ones that are already locked into cricket, not to fall into this trap?
Saint, the one thing that can assist us, in mitigating, like I mentioned, we lost four talented young boys to
Yes.
crime, right? The reason for those is directly linked to us not keeping the boys busy after the cricket season has opened, right? After the season has closed, right? Because during October until March, the boys are still busy playing. I mean, we don't have facilities to begin with, right? We don't. All our home games are being played away. But most importantly, the primary schools, they do not have, none of the schools in the area, there's about 9 primary schools, none of the schools has got a cricket facility, right? And the space that we've currently been afforded by Mfuleni Primary School through Starting Chance and Grassroots, this is what we want to build as a sanctuary of cricket in Mfuleni, to just make sure that we tick that one box, that we've got a facility for the young boys in Mfuleni, because the growth of the club is based on us being present at the primary schools. Now we're also adding the early childhood development, right? So which means when they from the ECDs, they go to primary schools, they go to high schools, but all of them, they would have had a chance to hold a bat, and be able to bowl as well. So I think that can not only grow cricket in the community, it's also going to be creating decent human beings from the area, because just for the fact of coming from Umfuleni and coming from a poverty-stricken household does not mean and define that child, right? So this is going to be affording all those children coming through the program an opportunity to be, someone who can be a captain of industry, and they can advocate for the game, all right? When they working for big groups,
Yes,
like
yes, yes.
big corporates,
Yeah, yeah.
they can advocate for the game, because we need corporates to come into play into this space.
And I'm gonna speak about something specific about the cricket nets, the importance of them. Um, there's a player from Mfuleni that as a selector, so there was this, it was 3 years back. We come like Lihle. And at this point in time, we were playing, outdoor trials. She was bowling, but within her bowling, her run up, she used to stop her run up immediately. So she didn't have a proper follow through. And one of the coaches, Ujer, was like, "Oh, okay, this is dangerous. Yeah, well, I need to stop this now." I realized, but this is a match, so the umpire is a bit annoyed. But the problem is that because he was saying something specific about, it's also because I'm not sure about Bebe Chimap, like where Mfuleni was practicing at the specific time. But he said because of the run up where it is, she has to stop immediately, you know. And again, I'm coming with this in that sense of the importance of, because it translates. If you don't have the proper facilities, it literally translates to your how you play, how you develop as a player. And the point yake was that if she ends up playing cricket, she's gonna develop this thing and then it's gonna cause a stretch fracture. Which is again, that's another expense that she may not have, because imagine having a stretch fracture and you are yet to make it.
Yeah, there were cricket nets in Fully. I think it's not just Lihle alone.
Yes.
When you've got a proper cricket net with a run up space, that's allowing you to run straight with no obstacles. Then you run straight and deliver. But unfortunately, we had a hill close to the nets, right?
This is
So
the
and sand,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
So you have to navigate the sand and stones. So that's now built into the run up, of the bowler.
Full of, yeah.
There's also a famous player, right? You can see his bowling action, and then people think that's what he wanted to do, but it's not because of that. It's because of
Navigating.
is he's navigating the stones and the sand, and that now plays a role in how you develop as a bowler, as a batsman. There's also another player. I think he was also under guidance, Lindo Gutle Baji. Lindo Gutle Baji was also a wicketkeeper, right? She also came through the Western Province structures as well. We couldn't do much in terms of training here for wicketkeeper, right? Because we also have got at the back of the nets, we've got like steps, right? Stairs going down.
Yeah.
So she must stand like further down the parking area. So he throw balls, to her while she's standing there. In fact, one of the gloves that we gave to Lindo Gutle was donated by Starting Chance, right? So Starting Chance being our partner as Grassroots Cricket, they've also done their bit to assist in terms of the equipment, right? So also you will notice with the net that we had, it had like multiple holes, right? So you just try to avoid bouncing in the good area, and now you end up bowling, a
Short
half
or
volley,
volley.
right? So challenges like that, you'd say, okay, why is the child bowling like half volleys the whole six balls? But it's where the child is having these sessions, right?
And thank you for this, because I say that because Ulindo Kuhle last year, she was part of the team, and she was part of the under 19 Western Province team, and she was picked as a wicket keeper. And I remember she was reluctant a bit to keep, because she'd be like, coach, I haven't had any experience. I haven't been wicket keeping. It was like, hey, we need a wicket keeper, and you fit the fold. So if you get into the team, this is how it is. And what I liked about it is that she took the challenge.
Absolutely.
She took the challenge, and those are the things, I think, going back to life skills, that we want. Is like people or young people who want to take challenge, and these are things that cricket teaches you. Before we actually recorded here, we had a small chat, and we spoke about the things that cricket teaches you. And some of those things, what would you say are those?
Okay, so if there's anything, like I mentioned, if there's anything that you can take out of the game of cricket, it teaches you resilience, right? You are there from 10 o'clock, whether you are changing from fine to fine, but you're resilient, you're learning the game, you patient, you also disciplined, right? You might win or lose the game, but you still go up and shake your opponent's hand and say, look, you've done well today. Maybe I didn't prepare as much as you did, so you deserve to win. So that teaches you also now to go back, and sometimes we don't look at how we contributed, to the loss, right? So it gives you like a time to have some self introspection, where you say, okay, look, what could I have done, to get a good result? What could I have done to win? What is it that the opponent has done better than I did? Were they prepared? Most of the times we would say, what could we have done? And say maybe we could have had nets, we could have had a sports field, but we're not lucky to say that. But for all these years that we've been playing, the game, and we've got all these kids coming through, and you are facing up, like the premier schools, they don't have off season, right? They've got the facilities, but you don't. But you still bring your boys and girls to play. But that match is like a first session for them, right? It's like a net session, right? But the season is started, but you it's like practice for you,
Yes,
right?
yes.
It's practice like match, and then you get an opponent that's scoring 250. You can't actually blame the boys and girls for letting those runs come through because they don't have a choice, right? It's learning on the go,
Cool. Yes,
right?
yes,
But
yes.
the resilience, if you see those boys on a Saturday morning, they knock at my door already at 6 a.m. Right, coach, are we still playing today? And I have to have my magic wand for the weather sometimes,
Yeah, yeah.
and I'll phone the opponent. They'll say no, but we can't play, and then I must delay the information to the boys until around 8 and say, okay, look, the opponent that says no, we can't play because of the weather.
Yeah, yeah.
So they look forward because some of the boys, in fact, most of them, right, it's the only time they get away from the community.
My follow up would be as a administrator, to some extent a coach, but more of an administrator. How do you keep them motivated to come back? Because I understand Oba, if they're gonna be hit for 200 or 150, and bear in mind they haven't had much time on the nets or batting, so the batters are actually getting their batting time here. And you know how kids are. It always depends what type of opponents you're gonna get. Some of them will be chirp. Kids chirp from age 11, and laugh at each other. So how do you keep them motivated knowing that they come from a specific place?
Yeah, one of the biggest things that I've noticed, in all the kids that I've been, mentoring and coaching over the years, is the fact that they all enjoy, having access to facilities of wherever we're traveling to, right? Say, for example, we travel to the northern suburbs and there's a club that's got cricket nets, the facility, just the open green space, right? It just brings so much joy to them to be in that space, right? Remember, if you at the nets, it's just you and the bowler, right? You don't need fielders to fetch the ball, right? But now, if you are playing in the street, you're going to break windows and you need someone to fetch the ball, and maybe there's a neighbor that doesn't really like you having playing cricket in the streets, right? So it brings them so much joy to access facilities of whichever area we travel to that's got the facilities, right? So apart from just coming out of the community and taking the trip to where they would normally go. Say, for example, if you play at Redham House, right, they will never have an opportunity to go to Redham House for anything but cricket, right? But you must just see the joy, that starts in their faces when they have the access to the facility,
Facilities.
right?
And two other challenges as we about to wrap up. Kuko equipment, that's a big problem. And then I'm not going to talk about funding, but I'm going to talk about transport. How do you navigate those problems? Because I would say, again, those are some of the problems that I hope grassroots can also assist, in the sense of, if you transport, if there's anyone out there who's willing to sponsor grassroots with a combi, it's so important, because I say this in the sense of the budget that you have in teams. Okay, let me talk about my experience. There will be times where a budget, your transportation is finished, and only one team can play. And we have under 11, we have under 10, and we have under 13. And all of these teams want to go play, and they've practiced the whole week.
They look forward to.
They look forward to, and they're all playing away, and maybe under 15 is playing home, or first team is playing home. So we can't accommodate a lot of them home. So how do you navigate such situations, including the equipment? And
Yeah, thanks for the question. I mean, you mentioned that we are going to about to wrap up, and
we can talk about this.
when we go to the equipment, equipment is the one very very important thing in cricket, right? Currently, we share bags, right? And when I say we share bags, which means we've got 4 helmets for the juniors, and we've got 3 juniors, right? Like under 11, under 12, under 14. So depending on who comes in early on Saturday, we'll have access to maybe one of the helmets, right? So the four must be split between the juniors, and no one person has got his own kit, right? We do have some pre-loved kits that we will access through Mr. Molt or through Dr. Ian Corbett, but it's not enough to go around, right? We had a meeting now with province in terms of transport, and there's already a 35% cut to that transport for this year. So now you're already looking at which fat am I going to cut, which muscle. It's not going to be fat, so you're going to be cutting to the muscle, because the existence of our club really depends on the assistance from outside, right? Because none of the boys is paying to be a member of the club, right? We don't have membership fees. Everyone is a member because they want to be part of the group, right? So equipment is very important, and even if you go to your local ward councillor, right, they will tell you, but cricket equipment is very expensive. One cricket bat is about 2,500 rand. That's like 10 soccer balls, right? Unfortunately, not everyone can be Ronaldo, not everyone can be Messi or Beckham. We need people to come through cricket, right? And there is so many opportunities in cricket currently. Only if people can realize that we cannot be channeling people through the one thing, which is football. We need, I always say, with what does transformation mean? It means affording the same or similar resources to the other counterparts that's performing well, right? You need resources,
Yeah, yeah.
you need facilities, you need coaching, you need life skills. If you don't make it as a player, you must make it as as a professional,
Yes.
right? So I think that question we can have another session where we just talk about the challenges around specifically transport, equipment, and how that is it's important. The facility that we're raising funds for through grassroots cricket in Mfuleni Primary School, it's going to mean the world to not only Mfuleni Primary School. Remember, this facility will be accessed by all the schools in the area, because it's going to be a sanctuary for cricket. We can always try to find, and accommodate other codes in other sporting facilities. For an example, the Mfuleni area has got a football turf, right? All the schools can play the football, right? Because we are going to be needing maintenance, when this is done. We're going to be needing maintenance for the oval, maintenance for the nets. So we're still looking for possible sponsors for that, right? Or like I mentioned, we're looking at 4 nets. Currently, the funding is only allowing us for one, and there's about 10 primary schools in the area.
I I wish for grassroots SA to be a success. It's a need in the not just the cricket economy, but in the South African township landscape, especially a gap, you know. Um, but now, my parting question with you is that what would you say is the ideal role model for a young player today? Who's the player that you would say they should model?
Okay, so now I will be looking at someone who had the same challenges and maybe rose through those, right? We've got a couple of youngsters that came through our our area, in Fulham Cricket Club in particular. We had Usman Kele Mashikane. She played for our club. She got a scholarship to study at Stellenbosch University. She's done with a 3-year degree. She played for Boland. Um, my mission is to have more people like Mamkele Mashikan. If you can get education through cricket, right, and that means we must get hold of that child at the ECD level, which is where starting chances is currently at, and put that person through grassroots cricket, right? To make sure that they're getting the life skills needed for outside, of the field, right? So those are, I mean, the bigger mission will be, say, someone to play for province, get a national contract for Proteas. But if that does not happen, but at least be educated and change the circumstances.
One thing I liked about that answer, it was when you chose the word ideal player, you didn't look at professional, you look at someone from the township itself. And another part was that it's actually a young lady. So, other words is that cricket is not just a man's sport.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Once you're a cricketer regardless of your gender, regardless of your color or ethnic group, religion. It doesn't matter. A cricketer is a cricketer, and a role model in cricket is a role model. Puti, thank you so much for visiting us. As I said, I want to Grassroots to succeed, to help Mfuleni so that we can have more players like Usama Mkel, Molindi Kuhle Pike. Yes, I forgot someone
Anita Memke.
Yes, we've lost her in cricket at the moment, but hopefully she gets back. Yeah, that's it from us at Leading Edge at Roundy Podcast. Until another episode, thank you guys for watching. Thanks for tuning in to the Leading Edge with Saint, the Pulse of Cricket podcast, proudly produced by Roundly Podcast Studio in partnership to bring you the stories and the voices of cricket. Until next time, stay on the leading edge of the game.